Hello, my friends. I am Bee, and this is Bee's Intuition. Today we're going to do a reading, and I thought it'd be fun to do one about what you don't expect to happen that will happen, if that makes any sense. The way I worded that just now kind of doesn't make sense, right? Or maybe I'm just tired. But yeah, what you don't expect to happen, but it will actually happen. Yeah, pretty much good things that you don't expect to happen, I guess. Okay. Sorry if my hair is like an absolute mess today. I don't know. Some days, like the first day after washing your hair, or like the first day of washing your hair, is like a toss up when you have curly hair. Anyways, that's not important. And as I was just holding the cards, uh, I didn't even actively do this, but I'm definitely going to include this in the reading. Um, it, my deck slipped out of my hands randomly, and one card fell into my hand. And do you want to see what it is? It's the Fool card. Well, clearly you have something new starting up for you, a new beginning. This could be something very exciting. Okay, well, yeah, let's see what the cards have. Please and thank you, Spirit. What does the collective not see coming that indeed will happen? What does the collective not expect to happen that will happen? Please and thank you, Spirit. I'll take them. A lot of cards to clarify, but I'll try and be snappy about it. We'll see. I'm not very good at being snappy. Okay. Et voila. Okay. Okay. So we have, well, I already showed you the Fool, but I'll show you later. We have the Fool card, Five of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, Six of Cups, Ace of Wands, Eight of Cups, and then bottom of the deck we have the Ace of Swords. Things will be illuminated for you, and maybe specific information. Things will become clear. Okay. Let's start by clarifying that Fool card, shall we? Please and thank you, Spirit. What does the collective not expect to happen, but will happen? Please and thank you, Spirit. With that Fool card, please and thank you. Can you clarify that Fool card for us? Please and thank you, Spirit. Please and thank you. Please and thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, what else about that Fool card? Okay. What about that Fool card's happening right now? Well, eventually, or whenever, I guess. I don't know. I don't really have a specific time frame for this, but I'll probably be able to tell how long. Well, not specific number. Okay, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so what came out to clarify the Fool card? We have the Three of Swords, and the Tower came out in this direction. Very interesting energy. Bottom of the deck is the Hanged Man. So this new beginning is transforming your heartbreak quite drastically, quite suddenly. Also, after a Tower moment comes healing. I think you may be healing some heartbreak in this new chapter opening up for you. Well, the Tower card would definitely indicate that it's happening suddenly. but especially the way that it came out, I see sideways cards a little differently than most readers. If it comes out in this direction, I see it as a good thing. So this is a good tower moment. I think that this is actually going to be something that's quite refreshing, especially if you've been feeling brokenhearted for some time. You feel like people, situations, or things have not been very kind to you. And then bottom of the deck with the Hanged Man, it could help you to see the bigger picture of something. I feel like you may want to reflect on this. It's almost like this new opportunity comes in, but it's almost so sudden, so surprising, and possibly something brand new. And so you may find yourself needing to take a step back from the excitement and reflect on it. And it feels like during this reflective mode, you may be able to see the bigger picture, because this almost feels like some sort of divine, I'm tempted to say connection, but it may not be. Some sort of divine occurrence. Like you're seeing like how this all plays a part in the greater scheme of things. And maybe it's like something like, I feel like it's going to be positive. It feels like something sudden happens and it's positive, but I feel like because it's maybe a little bit overwhelming emotions wise. The thing about excitement and fear is they feel very similar in the body. And so sometimes it's helpful to trick your mind into thinking about the things you're fearing as I'm just really excited about those things. So it almost is like something that you should maybe be excited for, but maybe it triggers fear instead. And maybe through this hangman mode, you're able to kind of take a step back and maybe rework it in a way of like how it's supposed to feel so that you can actually enjoy it. You can actually enjoy it and feel not scared or not as scared as you may be at first. Yeah. Let's see what's underneath the hangman. Four of Cups. Ooh. So maybe it is a connection. Three of Swords and then Four of Cups. Why do I feel like this is coming out of a time of you choosing yourself and raising your standards, creating and establishing boundaries with others? And it feels like Spirit is rewarding you with something that is really nice, but it's going to be very different, I feel, because you're different now. Because you've been working on yourself. You've been doing a lot of internal work. Let's see what's underneath that. The Star card. Now that's beautiful. I said earlier that what comes after the Tower is healing. The Star card is the one that follows the Tower. And so it can be a card of healing. This could be a very healing connection. And because it is the Star, you may feel like this is like written in the stars. The stars have aligned to bring the two of you together. Because it feels like there's something more to this. And I think you get that sense. But at first, it's going to register as fear. But eventually, you're going to see, no, this is a blessing. This is a manifestation. This is what Spirit wants you to receive because it's in that higher vibration. And you're going to see the bigger picture of like, wow, the divine brought us together. Or It could even be like a situation where it's like the most unlikely place to find your soulmate, and then there they are. Or like, yeah, because it feels surprising. Maybe you didn't go into a situation thinking you were gonna fall in love or that you would have somebody fall in love with you, but that's what it feels like. Something unexpected leads to love. And this is a love that's very healing. It's a love that's in alignment with you. And it's also something that the divine wants for you. Spirit wants to bring these two energies together because something beautiful is going to happen. Okay, let's go into the Five of Swords, clarifying that. Please and thank you, Spirit. What does the collective not expect to happen but will happen? Please and thank you with that Five of Swords. Five of Swords, please and thank you, Spirit. Yeah. I had a feeling. Oh, wait, where did that come from? Was that behind the... Oh, okay, I think it's that. Oh, righty. So, clarifying that Five of Swords, we have the Knight of Wands, Temperance, ooh, and then Queen of Pentacles, the Hierophant, Five of Swords. So we got a Five of Swords sandwich here. Oh, bottom of the deck too is Eight of Pentacles. So yeah, this isn't just mistreatment. You've been abused in the past in some way. More than likely, it had a mental component to it, or it left some mental scars. But these are scars that you can still feel. You went through some sort of trauma here. Because, like, why is the Five of Swords being clarified by the Five of Swords? Like, that's some heavy energy. You could have even been bullied or just, mistreated. It feels like, though, this comes from the people that are closest to you, and that's what hurts. But this doesn't feel like a present energy. This feels like you're reflecting on your past of pain. Maybe even something along the lines of like, because of these circumstances or situations you went through in the past, you developed maybe some unhealthy coping mechanisms or unhealthy mindsets that you're kind of reanalyzing here. I find it very interesting that the Knight of Wands came out and then it was followed by the Temperance card. Because if you ask me, that looks like in the past you may have rushed into connections with people, but now you realize the best thing to do is to take your time, temper yourself, temper your emotions when it comes to this so that they're not so overwhelming and making you impulsive. But it's like there's this shift going from fast action and maybe not really well thought out action to being very purposeful, mindful, because you don't want to undo all your healing here. You've healed so much and you don't want to have like a relapse or somebody come in and mess it up for you. You're showing up as the Queen of Pentacles here. And that Knight of Wands also is giving me an energy of like, there could have been a player in your past and maybe you thought it was love and so you rushed into it, but then they pulled the rug out from underneath your feet, made you trip, and they weren't there to catch you. That reminds me of an Eartha Kitt quote of like, men have always wanted to lay me down or lay down with me or something, but they never wanted to help me up or something along those lines. I'll include it in the when I'm editing. And that pretty much goes to say like that quote is about like how in Eartha Kitt's experience, men have wanted to sleep with her, but didn't really want much else and weren't there to be genuine. They were not very lacking integrity. But it feels like there is a new energy of someone that actually does have integrity, somebody that will stand the test of time. But I feel like a past experience that may have felt like that may kind of be lingering in the background of your brain. And maybe you're starting to question yourself. Like, they're so noisy. I can never tell if they're going to be coming down. Anyways, is there going to be background noise? Maybe not. Whatever. Okay. I lost that train of thought because distractions. Also, your energy has changed. Your energy has changed significantly. The Queen of Pentacles, that's maturity, stability, an abundance mindset. I feel like things are going your way, or they will be, and it's because of the work you've done internally. And you've been pouring into yourself, is what it feels like with that Queen of Pentacles. And the Temperance, I guess, could also indicate that. But it feels like really positive. Also, it's a very attractive energy, the Queen of Pentacles. Very calm and grounded. You may have a connection to nature or flowers. You don't have to, though. Ooh, okay. Maybe this new person is someone that would buy you flowers. Okay. And then the Hierophant follows that Queen of Pentacles. The Hierophant can represent Taurus, but the Temperance card can represent Sagittarius. But it's interesting that you're showing up as the Queen of Pentacles, and then we have that Taurus energy of the Hierophant. The Hierophant also deals with traditional commitments, traditional long-term romantic commitments. Yeah, so it feels like during that Hanged Man phase of you reflecting on this new exciting connection, you're meditating on the past, reflecting on the past, and you're trying to see this new connection from a different point of view. I think you're aware. I think you're very self-aware, actually. Queen of Pentacles probably is super self-aware because she's so tapped into herself, grounded, solid, confident. But that self-awareness, I think you understand that the past has left its mark and maybe left a little bit of unhealthy, you know, adaptations is what I'm getting. But like, yeah, negative coping skills or mindsets that developed as a result of being hurt so many times and by the people that are closest to you. I feel like that is very specific here. I mean, the Hierophant could definitely be indicating that an ex of yours was very harmful. They did a lot of harm to you, especially mentally. Made you doubt yourself, made you question who you are, may have even made you feel weak. Yeah. And you just never want to go back there. You don't want to undo all of this work you've invested into yourself, and you don't want to go back into relationships or connections with people that are fake, put on a mask maybe, but also people that are not mean, nasty, spiteful, taking out their anger on other people. You want somebody mature, which the Hierophant can also indicate that level of maturity to here. So this is probably somebody that's very mature. The new connection. It feels like it's going to be very different from past connections, but the Temperance card gives me hope that if you pace yourself and you do take things slowly and let things build over a period of time rather than rushing into it, and maybe just seeing how things go before putting, maybe all your eggs in one basket or making any long-term plans. That seems like a really good idea here. And because this person's mature, they will understand that you need time to warm up to this person or time to get to know this person. Because you've been tricked before by people and you don't want that to happen again. Also, the Five of Swords, that's a fighter energy, but it's like fighting because you have to, not because you want to. And so you're just so done with fighting for respect, fighting for dignity, fighting for a partner that is genuine and actually kind and actually, adds to your life instead of taking away from it. I find it very interesting. I'm being very drawn to how this figure is looking up at the moon. And sometimes I get that as like a spiritual significance. And I feel that here. I feel you kind of looking up at the moon and you're like, when will it be my time? When will I finally not have to fight all the time? And this could be not just in relationships, but fighting in general, like an uphill battle. You may have felt like your life has kind of been that way, but it's like you've been putting these, and it's for some of you, it could even be a subconscious sort of manifestation or a conscious one. I feel like a good amount of you are doing it consciously, but some of you may do it unconsciously. But it's kind of like you've learned what you're worthy of. And so you're asking the universe, you're asking spirit, you're asking the divine, please send what is meant for me, not all of this craziness, but rather what is truly meant for me and what will really make me happy in life. And I feel like this person is like that wish fulfillment for you. But at first, you may be a little scared because it's new. It may be a newer person, and you don't know if you can trust them quite yet. Bottom of the deck is the Eight of Pentacles. So it feels like you've been really hard at work at something, and it could just be a focusing on your work. And maybe working on yourself, which it feels like, yeah, that's kind of been your story for a bit. You doing that internal work. But it feels like something has been building over a period of time because of your investments, and those investments are paying off. or they're about to. I want to see what's underneath that Eight of Pentacles. Knight of Swords. You may have some sort of good news in terms of your work. And this could happen suddenly. You get a message, some sort of clarity coming in suddenly. It could be like the reward of your efforts. I want to see what's underneath that Knight of Swords, actually. The Chariot. Oh my gosh. These are two cards of significant movement forward. Chariot, you're overcoming any obstacles that lay in your path. You're receiving clarity, maybe information or truth that will help you here. If you've been focusing on your work, I have a feeling that, especially with these cards, something suddenly starts to move forward in a really positive way. So if you're feeling really like bummed out right now that you're not seeing the payoff of your efforts, it may come sooner than you realize. Truly. That's cool though. That's exciting. Yeah. So it's like maybe while you're even reflecting on your past, on this new connection, you could be simultaneously focusing on your work, and then your work starts to take off in a positive way. And you start to see growth, movement, positive results. Wow. Okay, let's go on to the Seven of Pentacles, please, and thank you, Spirit. What is the Seven of Pentacles? Can you clarify the Seven of Pentacles in relation to what does the collective not expect to happen that will happen? Please and thank you, Spirit. Please and thank you. Clarifying that Seven of Pentacles, the only card that came out to clarify that Seven of Pentacles is the King of Pentacles. I'm getting the message, all of your hard work has led up to this moment. You were showing up as the Queen of Pentacles earlier. Now we have the King of Pentacles. So some of you, this could be just a representation of your masculine side that you're balancing out with your feminine, and that's leading you towards your success. Or somebody is very attracted to the work you do, and they respect your work ethic. There's something about you that impresses them. It is just pentacles now, so maybe you know them through your work or through their work or something work related. It definitely feels like they admire your work for some reason. You do a good job. The King of Pentacles also is a hard worker, somebody that takes pride in their work. So I think this person could definitely see a kindred spirit in you, whether it's a romantic connection or not. I have a feeling it probably is a romantic connection. I think I forgot to show you the bottom of the deck, but it's the Knight of Swords again. So either you're going to be given some sort of opportunity by this King of Pentacles when it comes to expanding the work you're doing, taking it farther, building off of it, or creating something really cool, really awesome. This person could kind of offer you a leg up, so to speak. If you've been feeling like held back, or you've been struggling to achieve certain results, this person could help you to achieve those results. Because maybe they have knowledge and skills that can help you. But it feels like they have something to say with that Knight of Swords energy. It Feels like this person's going to send you a message, and it could simply just be work related. Or honestly, that might be kind of interesting. Maybe it opens up as a, oh, I love your work, message. Or I can't believe you did such a good job on this thing. Congratulations, or whatever. Um, and then maybe it builds or has maybe a little bit of a romantic undertone, or that builds up while you're communicating with one another. Interesting. But that Knight of Swords, they're excited to talk to you, to get your attention, to tell you something, share something with you. So it could be information related to your career. Let's see what's underneath that Knight of Swords. Knight of Pentacles. So there's a lot about work here, but like it's really good stuff. This person sees you as being incredibly patient and very wise. You make really good investments, and they see that you make good investments over a long period of time. You try not to rush into things, and I feel like if they're showing up as the King of Pentacles, they also don't like to rush things. Yeah, I think that this person's going to be reflecting a lot of your qualities back to you, but it's not going to be in like a narcissist way where it's like you're carbon copies of one another because they're trying to copy your personality to reflect that back to you. No, this feels way more genuine. This feels like a real grounded sort of connection. So whether this person is simply working with you or there's a romantic aspect to it, this is somebody you can depend on, rely on. And maybe you felt like you haven't had somebody like that for some time now, but it feels like it's coming in. And it may be due to your work. You do a really good job. And you've been very patient with the whole process here. Very mature, very intelligent, wise. I'm just curious what's underneath that Knight of Pentacles. Seven of Swords. That Seven of Swords energy does not feel like it fits this. Because this feels soft and gentle and genuine. And sturdy. I mean, oh. Okay, so maybe this isn't a bad Seven of Swords. Maybe the deceit or deception or whatever they're hiding. Ooh. So maybe they're trying to frame it around, oh, I just really like your work and I want us to work together. But deep down, I wonder if this person has feelings for you that they're trying to hide so that they don't make this like coworker dynamic awkward, especially if you don't reciprocate those feelings. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Because, like, this person, I think they really respect you, but they probably are a little intimidated by you because I feel like it's not often that the King of Pentacles finds a Queen of Pentacles. And these can be related to any gender, they don't have to be specifically he or she or whatever. Um, yeah, they don't come across a person like you every day. So it's almost like they would love to have you in their life, but they're afraid of maybe jumping the gun, sharing these feelings too soon. And also, it could be like they don't want that to come across as like an insult to you because it's almost like they like you for more than just romantic reasons. And so maybe they're like, it would be disrespectful if I just came in for my selfish desires. So this person could even be trying to suppress their feelings for you. I don't know how successful they'll be in that. I'm curious what's underneath that Seven of Swords now. Five of Wands. Competition. Oh, you have options. Interesting. So maybe they simply think that because you have a lot of options of people that want your attention, or oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't think of that. Yeah, they could even think that you're already taken or you're already in some sort of commitment because it's like you attract people and people really get very fired up about you, very passionate towards you. You're very attractive to a lot of people. And I think this King of Pentacles can sense that. Yeah. So it's not necessarily, well, actually, they may actually be too practical to express their emotions right off the bat. This is somebody that's really confident in themselves, but maybe they're specifically confident in themselves when it comes to their work. Maybe this person's not super experienced when it comes to relationships. And maybe therefore they feel like they're not as confident in romantic situations. Okay. So that could be part of why they're suppressing these feelings for you is like, not only do you have options and you may be taken. Sorry if that's an offensive way to word that. Or you're like, with somebody already. They may even think like, oh, there's no way this person's not like, there's no way this person's single kind of thing. And because they're most comfortable with work, they kind of want to keep it work based. But all the while, they could be kind of feeling those feelings. And that could be slightly frustrating for them. Because it's like they don't want, it feels like they really care about your opinion. And so they don't want you to think that they're just after one thing or that it's not a true business opportunity because it feels like that's what it's starting as. Some way of working together, definitely to build something together. All of these pentacles. But it feels slow and steady at the same time. I think that this person will reach out to you suddenly, but the connection you share with this person is going to unravel slowly. And I think maybe that's kind of what they like, a slow burn romance. So it's also like maybe they kind of want to work with you to get closer to you and kind of learn how you operate, learn more about you in the process. And then it's like, okay, if we actually seem compatible, my feelings are there, it's like eventually they would share those feelings with you, but maybe it hasn't developed to that point yet. Because it's like they want to be practical, they want to be grounded, they don't want to be too swept away in the love or the passion. Yeah. Yeah, because it's like they feel like it would be an insult to, excuse me, they feel like it would be an insult to you if they express themselves too soon. Okay. Because also maybe you're, if you're showing up as the Queen of Pentacles, that's a very attractive energy to be in. And so I almost wonder too if like, poop, what was that message? Okay, let's move on to the Six of Cups. Clarify that, please, and thank you, Spirit. Can you clarify the Six of Cups? What does the collective not expect to happen that will happen? Please and thank you with that Six of Cups. Clarification for that Six of Cups, please and thank you, Spirit. Please and thank you for the collective, for the most beautiful collective. What is about to happen that they do not expect? Maybe that would have been the best way to word it. What's about to happen that they do not expect? Anything else about that Six of Cups, please and thank you, Spirit. Six of Cups. Okay, so only one card came out for the Six of Cups. And I just looked at the bottom of the deck. So something really is just about to happen. It has to do with a message. So the card that came out to clarify the Six of Cups is the Six of Swords. So I am noticing that we had two fives earlier, and now we have two sixes. Those could be repeating numbers of significance for you. Maybe you see them, and that could be a sign that this is about to come in. Because that Knight of Swords, that's not just showing up at the bottom of the deck for nothing. That means something. The Knight of Swords is also the fastest moving knight in the deck. So you really do not expect something to happen as suddenly and as quickly as it does. It's so interesting that the Seven of Swords is clarifying the Six of Cups. Oh, there's like a bittersweetness that you look on your past with. Because you know that it was, for the most part, probably pretty toxic, but maybe you sort of romanticize certain aspects of your past. You know what this reads to me as is like somebody who thought that their best days were over. Like those days of excitement, of maybe young love, carefree. But I think that that is not true. I think that there's a lot better ahead of you than behind you. It also feels like karma, but positive karma. Because it feels very much with that Six of Cups that you've always been in this very loving energy, a very giving energy. And it feels like that is going to be rewarded. And why do I get this feeling that this is going to be somebody that is attracted to all of you, not just specific parts of you? And maybe you're not used to that kind of connection because it's like unconditional love. Because I'm very drawn to the roots here, which I feel like could definitely be like your beginning stages, like your childhood, the things that have impacted you throughout your life to make you who you are today. But this is somebody that looks at your toxicities, your trauma, your backstory. They don't judge you for this. It may even help, or it may even cause them to admire you even more because of your strength. But it's not just strength in a vague way, but strength of the heart. It feels very much like you lead with your heart to some extent. But at the same time, with the Six of Swords, you don't do it to such an extent of becoming overburdened or taken advantage of, because maybe at one point in your history, you may have put up with that, but not anymore. You've recognized your own worth and you know that you're worthy of so much more than what you've been given in your past. And it seems like it's interesting too, because we see the silhouettes of these two figures in this boat, but they're not looking at us. They're looking at what looks like a fire in the distance. So it's like they don't even know that they're heading into calmer waters that aren't that fire in the background. So it's like, I think you may even be expecting the worst out of your future. And if that's the case, I'm very sorry that you feel that way, but it feels like something is going to catch you off guard and you're not going to expect something really good to happen, or maybe multiple good things to happen, because it feels like, again, yeah, it feels like, again, your future is looking way brighter than your past. It's going to be much calmer too. So I feel like that with that Five of Swords energy we were getting earlier, and that message of like, when will I finally be able to rest after all this fighting? I feel like you're coming into a future in which you're going to be able to finally relax, at least to some extent. But it feels like kind of surprising to you because it's almost like maybe you're in such a reflective mode that you're so focused on the past, you don't see something coming in that's going to really light up your life, make it very beautiful, happy. Healing the mundal space as well. I feel like there's going to be something that's going to be very healing for you taking place here. That Knight of Swords, like, this is coming way sooner than you realize. It almost feels like it's spirit in the driver's seat, so to speak, of this Knight of Swords. It's like spirit is pushing you towards some really good stuff here. I want to see what's underneath that Knight of Swords. Oops, I took two. Eight of Pentacles underneath that Knight of Swords, but what was the one that was under that? Death. Ooh. There's something transforming about your work. Suddenly, sudden movement forward, transformation. An end to feeling like you can't catch up, an end to you feeling like all of your efforts are in vain, an end to doubt, especially when it comes to your work. It feels like something is transforming in a really positive way here. You don't expect it to happen because you've been so hard at work on something. It's almost like, and you've been so disappointed at it that maybe you just don't expect this to happen. But something takes a shift here. And suddenly with that Knight of Swords, I'm curious what's underneath that Death card. Two of Swords. It's important to listen to your intuition and not your fear. It almost feels like maybe even spirit's kind of trying to assure you through your intuition that everything's going to be okay, but it's almost like you fear the worst. There could also be a new opportunity that's being brought to light, and the Two of Swords could be like, do I take this offer or do I keep doing what I'm doing already? There could be a career change as well for some of you. And so you're like kind of like, oh, I don't know. But if it is a career change, whatever career you're going into or that change you're making is probably very positive. Yeah, the Six of Cups, I would say it probably will be very emotionally fulfilling as well. Could even have something to do with your inner child healing. Ooh, are you coming into a career that you've always dreamt of, like since you were a kid? That could be what's happening here. And you could be caught up in your head thinking it's too good to be true, but I think it actually is not too good to be true. It's what you deserve. I'm just going to look underneath this out of nosiness. I just love to take it as far as I can. The Moon card underneath the Two of Swords. Yeah, so it's like the unknown. So yeah, if it is a new career, you could be really scared. because you're like, well, I've never done this before. What if I look like an idiot trying to do this thing that I've never done before? What if people judge me? There's a lot of fear here, but it feels like it's positive. Like I can't help but shake this positive sensation. I'm curious what's underneath the moon card. Nine of Cups. See, that's what I'm talking about. So if you push past all this fear, all this doubt, if you push past that and you lean into this transformation of something, but the Death card can also be something ends, so something new can begin. And I feel like it's something to do with your work here. So it's like you're going to be offered something way better. That could be a thing. Or simply you're excelling in your career, or like it's like some of you are changing your careers, but others of you are expanding within your career. And so maybe you start to see like an end to not seeing the payoff of your efforts and the beginning of being really successful, or really doing a great job at your work. But yeah, so it's like if you push past these fears and doubts, the Nine of Cups is underneath all that. And the Nine of Cups typically represents a wish fulfillment, something that's going to make you incredibly happy. I feel like there's also an energy of independence with the Nine of Cups. So it's something that really serves you here, makes you very content. But it's a solo energy, so I almost feel like, because we did have that energy earlier of like some sort of romantic situation potentially playing out, but it's almost like, how do I word that? It could be that you come into some career success that makes you feel really good about yourself, and it helps you to show up in your best energy, infectious energy. I'm getting, oh my gosh, I'm getting like this beautiful smile in my mind. You could have a smile that lights up the room, or like when you're happy, everybody's happy, because it's just like you radiate joy and love and brightness and warmth. Oh, that's beautiful. But yeah, so it's almost like you're probably going to be experiencing some sort of success here in your work. And that could be taking place before you come into union with somebody that's going to be really good for you. And maybe it's that success in your career that attracts that King of Pentacles to you, perhaps. Or that King of Pentacles is the one with the career opportunity for you. Juicy, juicy. Okay. Well, let's go on to the Ace of Wands now, please and thank you, Spirit. Can you clarify this Ace of Wands? What? The first card that came out for that Ace of Wands, you want to guess what it is? The Ace of Wands. I love when Spirit does that. Okay. So that is a confirmation that my original idea about this Ace of Wands is what it's a confirmation of what I thought this Ace of Wands was meaning, which I was taking it as you're creating something here, or you're manifesting something here. You're bringing something out of your brain, not just a vision, but you're going to put that vision into reality. You're bringing that into the 3D. That's what I'm getting really strongly with those two Aces of Wands. Two Aces of Wands. This King of Pentacles could be also manifesting at the same time you are. Or you're manifesting very similar things. And that's probably why the two of you are going to be very compatible. You both have very similar goals, I think, and similar mindsets. You may both be very creative. Maybe that's something that attracts you to one another. Anything else about that Ace of Wands, please and thank you, Spirit. What does the collective not expect that is about to happen? is about to happen that the collective does not expect? Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything else about that? Ooh, Ace of Wands. Please and thank you. Okay, thank you. Now, what is this? Okay, so the first one that popped out. Well, so we, on top of that Ace of Wands that came out to clarify the Ace of Wands, we now have the High Priestess, the Five of Wands. Bottom of the deck is the Eight of Pentacles again. Recurring Eight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck and that Knight of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Sudden movement when it comes to your work. That is like just coming in so loudly. So, I mean, I think we already got that message about Spirit wants you to trust your intuition, not your fear. You're getting some crazy downloads during this time, I think. Spirit is speaking directly to you through your intuition. So it's like Spirit truly wants you to follow that intuition. Let that lead the way for you. Trust in that intuition as well. You know, because sometimes we can gaslight ourselves into not believing our intuition, right? Because it's not logical enough. It's not, you know, there's no studies about intuition that are like observable in the 3D very much. And so a lot of people don't really believe in intuition, or they don't really trust it a lot of the time. But it feels like your intuition is telling you something about what's about to happen in a positive way, but maybe you don't really. No, I think you're learning to trust it. That's what the High Priestess, I think, is indicating, is you're learning to trust your intuition. You're starting to not second guess it so much. Maybe at one point you did, but it feels like you're really strengthening your intuition during this time. And maybe you're using your intuition within this creative energy, within this manifestation energy. Like this is a big component of all of that. Yeah. And but it's very interesting because the High Priestess is somebody that does not speak. So they're very quiet. They're a little bit of a mystery. They're a little bit hidden. And then the Five of Wands follows that. So it's like, I think you're staying very quiet about the things you're manifesting, the things you're creating in your life. Because also it may be a competitive field as well, whatever you're entering into. Or sometimes I see the Five of Wands as like sort of like a petty sort of drama, like nothing that's really traumatic. It's more of a nuisance really than anything. So maybe you just have people around you that you know are jealous of you or are, you know, praying for your downfall or whatever. So you're trying to keep things inside for now or to yourself until they're maybe ready to be shared with the world. Yeah. Because you just don't want anybody butting into your life, your manifestations, the things you've got going on. Because it feels like these are the types of people to do something and not like literally sabotage you, but like try to distract you with petty drama. And maybe this is something you're already kind of experiencing, is like an environment where there's petty drama, or like people are subconsciously, because they can sense you're going somewhere very very positively. Oh, also repeating ones with the Ace of Wands, clarifying the Ace of Wands. So repeating fives, ones, and sixes could definitely be significant for you. Anyways, yeah, it may be a subconscious thing where the people around you just subconsciously distract you from your goals and your what you got going on, or it's like they subconsciously want to interrupt this so that you're not becoming successful. Also, very interesting how I was saying that these two aces of wands, it almost feels like you and a counterpart manifesting at the same time. And then the high priestess came out after that ace of wands. And so I noticed just now that the number 2 is there with the high priestess. And, combining these two wands together, we have 2 wands there. And so I think you're going to have a very psychic connection with someone. And this will be, I think, really refreshing because this will be somebody that gets you without you even having to say a word. Even on your days where you're very quiet, not saying a whole lot, this person understands you. They tap into you. The two of you could both be intuitive or very spiritual, but it feels like more new age spirituality because it is the high priestess. That's kind of cool. I like this energy I'm picking up on. Oh, and then it's like if the two of you come together in this union that is obviously very special and unique, there could also be people getting jealous in the background, trying to distract you from one another or something. But again, it's pettiness. It's not anything super serious. It's just people starting drama for the hell of it. They don't got anything better going on in their lives. But 8 of Pentacles. So it feels like this is a connection that involves work, but also involves so much spiritual depth and healing. Maybe this is a mutually healing relationship too. Because, you've gone through it, but maybe this other person has also gone through it. I want to see what's underneath that 8 of Pentacles. Knight of Swords again. See, like it's a repeating theme here. You're going to experience sudden forward movement in relation to your work. Maybe there will even be some sort of spotlight on your work. Could be published, or it stands out in a big way. It's very noticeable. Maybe you get the attention of your boss, you get praise, you get a raise, something like that. That rhymed. Okay, let's see what's underneath that Knight of Swords. Still the 2 swords under there. Yeah. It just feels like don't doubt the good things coming in. You may even have imposter syndrome where you feel like, maybe I'm not deserving of this, maybe I'm not ready for this, but I think you're way more ready and prepared for this. And you are obviously very deserving of this. Out of curiosity. Death card again. Yeah. So it's like big transformations are happening. Endings are leading to new beginnings. And you're going to see a lot of forward progress in relation to your work. And it's going to feel really good. But you may get a little caught up in your head, but Spirit just wants to remind you to focus on your intuition from that grounded place. And don't listen to the fear. Something that may be helpful is literally getting outside of your mind by like focusing on something more tactile, which that Ace of Wands kind of gives me that energy. Like maybe using your hands to create something could be very beneficial. Something of like a creative expression that could be helpful during this time. So if you draw, paint, journaling may even be helpful. Yeah. Planning for the future too, because the new year's coming up and everything. So could be a message too about like planning out your new year's in advance. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, doing something that focuses on something outside of yourself rather than staying up here, that's going to help you a lot, is what I feel. Help you not feel so afraid and help you to stop maybe doubting your intuition. Let's go on to the Eight of Cups now. Please and thank you, Spirit. I almost said Eight of Wands. Interesting. Can you clarify this Eight of Cups for us? Please and thank you, Spirit. What is about to happen that the collective does not expect to happen with this Eight of Cups? Please and thank you. What is this No, a little bit less than that. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is this Eight of Cups indicating in this reading for the collective? What's about to happen that they don't see coming, that they don't expect? What does that mean? Ooh, so maybe I'm supposed to show you what's at the bottom of the deck before we get a card for this Eight of Cups. But it's interesting. We have the Eight of Cups, which is actually about prioritizing your own happiness, not being afraid to leave things behind that no longer fulfill you, choosing yourself above anyone or anything. And then bottom of the deck is the Four of Cups. And that's also a card about choosing yourself. And as we said earlier, it's about building, growing some standards and living according to those standards. Establishing those boundaries, pretty much like doing the things that will benefit you in a relationship long term. Okay, let's see what, can you clarify this Eight of Cups, please and thank you, Spirit, as to what is about to happen that the collective does not expect? Please and thank you, Spirit, with that Eight of Cups. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Eight of Cups. Clarification. That's a whole stack there. I'm going to put that back. My cards are being very odd right now. Well then. Oh, that's too funny. Oh, wow. Interesting. So, what we received for that Eight of Cups, we have the Empress, the Queen of Cups, Six of Wands, and then the bottom of the deck is the Four of Cups again. So good things are happening as a result of you choosing yourself and doing some really great internal work. Choosing yourself. And it feels like there's a big glow up happening here. And it feels like the past was so full of heartbreak, but it feels like that is not what you're coming into. The Empress and the Queen of Cups, that's so much loving energy. So it's like you're the ideal partner right now and you're in that vibration of love, so you're going to be attracting that. You're very confident, or you will be when something comes in, because the Six of Wands is a card of success and also being celebrated for that success, standing out in a big way here. Also, I don't know why, but the Empress and the Queen of Cups, that felt like two separate energies here to me. I feel like you're represented by the Empress and somebody else is represented by the Queen of Cups. And it feels like this could be your counterpart here. And it doesn't have to be a same-sex union, but it could be if that applies. But it feels like more than that, it's somebody who's emotionally vulnerable, emotionally mature, somebody that is incredibly emotional, but very like self-aware, tapped into their own heart, somebody that's not afraid to feel things. So if this person typically is a masculine presenting person, it may be sort of surprising how vulnerable they are with you, how much they're not afraid to love you or, show interest in you at the very least. Interesting though, like halfway through of this reading, we had the King of Pentacles. And now at the last part of this reading, that Eight of Cups clarification, we have the Queen of Cups. Yeah. Because it almost hits me as this could be this King of Cups. Well, it depends, I guess, on who they are and how they show up. But that King of Pentacles, rather. At first, they're all like work, business, business, work, like, let's be professional here. But it feels like the more this progresses, the more they learn about you and your backstory. I think that this is somebody that can't help but fall in love with you. And it probably gets to such a point that they can't suppress those feelings any longer. Feels like a winning situation with the Six of Wands. This could be a union that's a big win for the both of you. And it feels really beautiful with the Empress and the Queen of Cups. That would be such an incredibly loving connection. But if this is the King of Pentacles, it also has that groundedness, stability, security, and probably that like sturdy foundation for all of this relationship to take place on. And I like that though, because it's showing, yes. So this could be the King of Pentacles just showing up in a more romantic sort of light. Because this is not somebody who represses or suppresses themselves. This is such a healthy energy. I actually love this. And I feel like you're not used to this type of energy in people, especially your partners. I think this could actually blow your mind because you're probably like, people like this exist? People that are not afraid to love exist? But it's nice because we were getting that message earlier about tempering this connection, not rushing it into anything, but rather letting it unravel slowly, naturally. And so it's like with a progression of time, this business, work kind of individual, the more this goes on, the more they develop these feelings, the more these feelings build up, the more they admire you, the more they're attracted to you, the more they see what could be with you. A lot of happiness, clearly. And it feels like you're both really healthy because you've both done that inner work. This is really such a beautiful energy here. Wow. And because we have the Empress, the Queen of Cups, which I feel like is the both of you together, and then the Six of Wands, you two could become a power couple here. The two of you could do something that is successful together. You could create success on your own, but also together. And I almost wonder if it's like you're going to have your own success and then come into union, and then there's even more success possible. Because it's like all in alignment with you and your vibration. Because you've been working on yourself, you've been doing that inner work, and that's paying off here with some great manifestations, both in work and in love. Wow. And the Four of Cups at the bottom of the deck, I feel like this is a message of like, it's all thanks to you. It's all thanks to you for establishing those boundaries, establishing those standards, and living in accordance to those standards. Not just saying these things, but actually living by them. Choosing yourself first and foremost, that's what's going to lead you to this healthy, beautiful connection. So don't doubt it when it comes in, because if you feel like you're not worthy of this, you definitely are. You've done the work for this. But also, at the end of the day, we're all inherently worthy of love. That's probably a hot topic because of how society programs us, but we're all at our very roots deserving and of love. But, you know, especially when you do that inner work, like you've done the work. You really do deserve this. So don't doubt that. And thank yourself for creating this manifestation, because whether it was conscious or subconscious, like this is, you've done this inner work and now you're going to be attracting a lot of manifestations. Let's see what's underneath that Four Cups. The King of Cups. That's so funny because I accidentally stumbled over my words and said the King of Cups here. Interesting that we had the Queen of Pentacles and then the interesting that we had the Queen of Pentacles and then the King of Pentacles, and now we have the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. I mean, that screams counterpart to me. This feels like you're going to be two peas in a pod. The yin to their yang and vice versa. It feels like two puzzle pieces interlocking with one another, and it's like a perfect fit. I think this is going to be an incredibly beautiful connection. And it feels like it's destined to be. The two of you were practically made for each other, is what I feel. And it may not have happened if you didn't do this inner work. That's what I want to say. It's like, because you did this inner work, you are in that vibration and in alignment with this other person. Yeah. Let's see what's underneath that King of Cups, out of curiosity. The Hanged Man. Ooh, see, like there's this mirroring energy I get from the both of you. Earlier, the Hanged Man was like your energy. You're like taking a step back, maybe when this connection starts to take off, you take a step back to kind of reflect on things. And because we have the King of Cups and then underneath is the Hanged Man, this person could be currently reflecting on this connection. I feel like you're both very balanced within your feminine and masculine energies. So I feel like these cards are almost interchangeable when it comes to your energies. But it feels like this person could be reflecting on this before they make their way towards you. Because because the two of you both eventually see this as a divine connection. Like this has to be fate, destiny. This has to be something that the divine conspired to bring together. I'm curious what's underneath. Ten of Cups. That's happily ever after. That is a lot of emotional fulfillment and a beautiful family if that's what you want. But a very happy future either way. Gorgeous energy. Wow. What a beautiful reading. I mean, it looks pretty good. This connection, it may, take some time to develop. Oh, I wonder if that tower moment then is not them coming right out the gate, expressing their feelings for you, and then you kind of being like, oh gosh, and then maybe needing to take a step back. Now I'm almost thinking it's just this person's presence in your life that may kind of trigger these emotions and bring up these feelings, which is triggering those traumas from the past. And then that's why you needed to go into that hanged man mode, to take a step back and look at this more objectively, potentially. Because you could be actually overwhelmed with feelings for this person. And maybe it's while you two are still working together or collaborating in some regard. And so you're like, oh, gee whiz, like, why am I getting feelings for this person? And maybe you think that this person doesn't have those feelings for you because they're so professional. But underneath it all is a building of emotion, a building of love, romance, connection. This is interesting. I think it'll just take this person a little bit longer than you to maybe completely give themselves to this, or before they can say with complete certainty that the two of you are a good match and will make each other very happy. Interesting. This is such an interesting reading. I love this. Okay, Ace of Swords at the bottom of this deck. So an illumination of the truth here. Death card. So something is transforming, or there's an ending that's leading to a new beginning. Six of Pentacles. That's that back and forth, equal give and take, reciprocal sort of dynamic here. And I'm not surprised by that at all, because it seems like the two of you really balance each other out. You are really two parts of a whole. And maybe I shouldn't say that, because you're obviously complete and whole on your own, but it's going to fit together seamlessly is what it feels like. It's going to feel like a fish in water. Just easy, simple, meant to be. I'm curious what's underneath that Six of Pentacles. The moon, see? It's like this is a new thing, and therefore you may be a little bit scared because you're not sure what exactly this is going to, like, where this is going to go, if it's going to last. You know, you have a lot of doubts and stuff because it's so new to you, but I feel like it's exactly what you need. I'm curious what's underneath the moon card. Seven of Cups. See, yeah. You may be worried that this is delusion, or in the beginning stages of this connection, you think that all of these feelings are just one-sided on your part. And so you may think you're being delusional, thinking that, you know, having feelings for this person and feeling like this person doesn't have feelings for you back. But I think that's not in touch with reality. I think that's just an illusion. Because I think this person does have feelings, at the very least, a little spark inside of them. It'll just take more time for them to maybe work up the courage to tell you, or for this to really build to a point where they can't really avoid those feelings anymore. I think they just want to be responsible with this, and so they may at first kind of try to keep it cool, you know, all the while something's building underneath. Curious what's underneath that Seven of Cups. Four of Cups. So we have that recurring message of you choosing yourself, and that's why this is happening. Justice, like that balancing out of the scales, karmic justice. I think that you've been working on yourself, you've been doing really good stuff, and so that's coming back to you. I think this is going to be a chapter in which you're going to finally feel like your efforts are not in vain, your work isn't in vain. You know, all of that inner work too wasn't in vain, because things are going to start aligning for you and working out very well. Wow. This is a really beautiful energy. Okay, let's break out the oracle. I think I'm going to ask it advice for maybe how to navigate. I mean, I don't even know if you need advice though, because I think I kind of gave it already with the Temperance card. Like, taking it slow and steady is going to be the best strategy here, because that's going to lead to that foundation being built. And then that like trust with one another. I'll just ask the Oracle if there's just anything to add to this reading. Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything to add to this reading for the collective? What should they hear, or what do they need to hear in relation to all of these goodies coming into their life? Please and thank you, Spirit. Any advice for the collective, or just any words of wisdom or something that they need to hear right now? Please and thank you, Spirit. Maybe for preparation of these beautiful things coming in. Okay, so if you came out, we see. Oh, okay. So first one is snow. Very fitting for this time of year in the northern hemisphere. But this snow represents rest and contemplation. That may be what Spirit wants you to embody right now, while this is still in the works. Take some time to rest and maybe contemplate not just on like your past and the effects that had, but obviously that may be helpful to do, but also contemplate about like what qualities are you looking for in a partner. Maybe literally write down those qualities, because you may actually be surprised or shocked that this person aligns with those qualities. Interesting. And then, oh my gosh, this is too funny. After the snow card is the spring card, and this represents rebuilding, awakening, and rebirth, which that kind of gives me that death energy of like something transforming here. And it's interesting how we go from snow to spring, because that's the way that it happens, isn't it? The spring card also gives me a sense of romance. You know, flowers start popping up in the springtime, and, you know, I don't know about you, but I get kind of like, yeah, like flowers are nice and they have that romantic undertone. Spring is like regeneration, and, you know, there's fertility aspects. So I feel like it's kind of natural for that time of year to feel a little bit romantic. But it also could be the connection that you have with this person feels like spring. Bright, warm, full of hope, awakening. It's like you're both awakening to the significance of this connection. It feels like this is spiritual, like a very spiritual connection, but it's like nothing like you've experienced before, which is definitely a good thing based on what we saw of your past. Maybe you're this person's spiritual awakening. Or maybe they were already spiritual to begin with, but at the very least, you're awakening to the meaning of this connection. Why the two of you are just so magnetized towards one another. Why you feel like the two of you just fit together so well. The way you're maybe just naturally compatible with one another. Yeah. Because it's almost like this is such a specific, unique relationship. It's just like undeniable. Like nothing you've ever experienced. Yeah. And then we have the Salt card, and this represents protection and banishing negativity. And that feels like this connection is going to be protected, but also you are protected by Spirit. And because you're moving into this calmer time, I think this is going to naturally banish negativity. So if you've been feeling like you're surrounded by negative forces, negative energy, it feels like you're entering a chapter in which you're not going to feel weighed down by that negativity or negative energy. And you're going to be protected. Things are going to feel easier. Yeah. And then we have Cauldron. This represents creation, opportunity, and caring. That's cute. Creation, though, interesting, because I did say that the two of you could be creative because you're both like creating something here. You're both manifesting and bringing something into reality. And then opportunity. I think that this connection is a huge opportunity, but it also could be career opportunities, yeah, which we already touched on. And then the caring part. Well, that's sweet. I just got the message of like the caring part. Oh my gosh, no, don't make me emotional. It feels like this is the type of person that would bring you soup when you're sick, make you soup. Ah, that's so cute. It's going to be just such a real connection. It's going to give you life, truly. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have potion. And this represents invigoration and empowerment. Yeah, you're going to feel real invigorated when all these good things start happening. Like you're going to feel like a spark, or maybe, a renewal of hope, a renewal of energy, maybe. Ooh, maybe the two of you kind of like help each other to be more energetic, or like you just naturally have that when you're around each other. Maybe the two of you motivate and inspire one another. Ooh, I like that. And then empowerment, it's like because you've empowered yourself, that may be the biggest part of all of this, why this person's so attracted to you and why the two of you are in alignment with one another. You've empowered yourself, you've done the work from the inside out. And that does not go unnoticed by this person because I feel like they have done similarly. But I'm getting a funny message with the potion here. Especially if you're a spiritual person, this may not apply to everyone, but this person could think that you like casted a like a love spell on them, or like they drink some love potion, because especially because they're the King of Pentacles there, they are so typically probably removed from the emotions a lot of the time. And not to say that they don't experience emotions. I think that they just kind of, they like their work, and so they pour everything into their work and maybe don't allow a lot of time for love, or to not a lot of time to entertain the idea of love. But it's like you are that like love potion to them. They can't help but think about you. They can't help but build feelings for you. They may even feel super connected to you right off the bat, but they don't express it because they want to be professional. But you may take that as like, oh no, they don't like me, but it's not that. They just probably have a very convincing poker face because they take pride in being professional and being very work based. They may think it's unprofessional to show signs of love at this point, but they may question like is it spirit that made this a perfect relationship, or are they casting spells over there, making me drink their love potion or something? It's kind of funny. I feel like that's more of a lighthearted message. It doesn't really feel like they're, seriously like, oh my gosh, they put a love spell on me. No, I think it's kind of just like, well, wouldn't that be funny if they did? Oh, ha, ha. But it's really probably just them trying to reason why they feel such an intense connection to you. Probably pretty soon after the two of you meet. Yeah. It definitely feels like the kind of love that really gets under your skin, but in a good way, where it's like you truly can't avoid this strong connection that draws the two of you together. And again, it feels mutual, it feels balanced, it feels healthy. Ooh, I love this. I really do. I love this reading. So, this is what's happening soon that you don't expect, and it's a lot of good stuff. And that is the reading. I really hope that you enjoyed this. I know I did. um, but yeah, if it resonated at all, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee like me, and we can be a little bee family together. If you like my readings and you'd like to see more, be sure to click that bell icon down below so that YouTube actually notifies you the next time that I'll upload. And of course, there wouldn't be a reading of mine if the phone didn't die at the most random point possible. But yeah, so I pretty much completed my outro. I just wanted to say, as I usually include at the end of these outros, um, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you. And I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.